Hello and welcome to Run Testers. My name's Nick and this is our full review of the Nike Vomero Premium. So the Vomero Premium is an all-new shoe for 2025. It sits at the top of the Vomero line, ahead of the Vomero Plus and the Vomero 18. It's the most cushioned shoe in the Nike range. It's built for extreme comfort to replicate the effects of an anti-gravity treadmill given the amount of foam you have underfoot. And it's also the most expensive shoe in the cushioned lineup from Nike, costing £210 in the UK, $230 in the US. It's a heavy shoe as well, weighs in at 355 grams or 12.5 ounces, but that weight is really all down to the fact you've got such a high midsole stack, which is 55.5 millimeters tall at the heel and then 45.5 millimeters tall at the forefoot in my US men's size 10, UK 9. You've got a 10 millimeter drop, as with most Nike shoes, and the material you've got going on the midsole is a thick layer of ZoomX foam, the bouncy, springy stuff used on a lot of Nike shoes, with two large air zoom units, one under the heel, one under the forefoot. These are positioned about halfway through that ZoomX midsole to give a little bit more firmness and responsiveness to the shoe, so it doesn't just feel entirely soft underfoot. You get a little bit of bounce back. Then you have an engineered mesh upper, which is pretty thick. It's comfort focused. You've got lots of padding around the tongue and around the collar of the shoe as well. It's all very plushly padded. And then a classic Nike waffle tread outsole on the shoe with good coverage there. So all around, you've got a shoe that's built primarily for comfort above all and stands 10 millimeters taller even than something like the Vomero Plus, which is a very comfortable cushion shoe itself. Comes to the fit of the Nike Vomero Premium, it's been all good for me in my normal running shoe size. Got a UK 9 here, it's a US 10. That's the size I use across the Nike lineup, from racing shoes to other cushion shoes, and I've always had a good fit. It's a pretty reliable brand, I would say, in general, Nike, for the fit on their shoes. I had enough room around the toes, comfortable hold around the heel and midfoot. You've got a lot of padding on that tongue and around the collar of the shoe, which I did worry could feel a little bit oppressive, but I've been running in pretty cold conditions here. It hasn't been a problem at all. I think if you are in a hot country, you might find the shoe a little bit sweaty at the back of the shoe, especially under that thick tongue. A bit worried about the high heel tab on it as well in terms of rubbing my Achilles, but I didn't have any problems with that at all. I haven't done anything crazy long in the shoe, but I have been over 20k in it, and yeah, no concerns at all. The comfort's been very high from the upper as well as that mega stack midsole. So I've run about 90k in the Nike Vomero Premium, and I've used it for a range of daily training runs. So the first run I did in it was like a pure recovery run. I've done some more of those, but I've also done my weekly long run in it last week and a couple of easy to steady progression runs. This is very much a standard part of my week as a daily training run where I move from an easy to steady pace. I've done it in all sorts of shoes, and I did it in the Vomero Premium as well to see how it felt at some slightly faster paces. And all round, I've liked the shoe a lot, and probably a lot more than I expected. I thought after that first run it was going to be a bit too big for me, really like enjoyable for pure recovery runs, but actually the level of bounce in the shoe has made it slightly more versatile than I expected, and the fact it is just so comfortable and cushioned underfoot does make it a pretty unique shoe out there, and one that I have really looked forward to pulling on, especially on tired legs, and does give you a little bit more bounce, a little bit more fun and liveliness to each run. Like, it's a really great shoe to run in, and it might seem a bit overblown. It certainly is a bit overblown, I would say, but actually it delivers a fantastic ride. Like, sometimes when Nike just throws everything at a shoe, it hasn't really worked for me in the past. Like the Pegasus Premium is a shoe that I don't really rate very highly. I find it very heavy, a bit unstable, not very responsive, just don't really know what that's for. Whereas the Vomero Premium is a shoe very clearly built for a job to deliver the last word in comfort and protection on those daily training runs and easy runs in particular, and it certainly does that to a very high degree. It's a really enjoyable shoe for those runs, and actually has impressed me a bit more in terms of its versatility as a general daily trainer as well. So yeah, overall, definitely a shoe I like more than I expected. It's a really great mileage shoe, and while it certainly might not be the most practical or best shoe to go for in the market at large, if you're looking for value or general versatility and that kind of thing, it is a shoe that is built for a job and does that job extremely well. So that's all down to the midsole, which is really soft but also bouncy, and I think that's key. You do squish into this midsole, but you hit those air zoom pods and then you do come back. So it does mean that you have got a ride that gives enough energy back to keep you turning over, and the shoe doesn't feel quite as big and hefty and cumbersome as you might expect when you are running in it as a result of that. Like, there's a lot of spring in that midsole, and the mild rocker actually is surprisingly fluid. It doesn't feel like a 10mm drop shoe. Like, there's so much foam here and there's so much squish here. Like, it's not like the classic 10mm snapping through with something like a Pegasus, that feeling you get with more traditional 10mm drop shoes. This is nothing like that. It's a pretty smooth rolling shoe, I found, and yeah, that midsole just delivers endless amounts of cushioning, but also enough bounce to make it not feel like chore to run in the shoe or at all laboured. And when I did do my first run in the shoe, I picked up the pace a little bit at the end, and I thought this is just too big. But when I did a more natural progression, like those easy to steady runs I talk about, so I'd start probably somewhere around 4:30 a k and work down to about 3:40 a k, so about 6-minute miling for the last 15 minutes or so, and it actually felt quite natural to do it in the shoe. Like, you do go through the gears quite well, and it's not like an express pace or anything, but it worked perfectly fine for that. It's still not at all a speed shoe or the most versatile of like cushion shoes. Something like the Vomero Plus even offers a lot more in terms of speed and versatility if you're looking for a one cushion shoe to do everything in. But given that this is such a big shoe and heavy shoe and built so much for comfort, actually does work for that range of daily training runs, which is all I'd ever expect it to do, and it does it perfectly well. And then obviously when you do go to the runs, it's more targeted at those recovery runs. It really thrives there. So that first run I did it was the day after a workout, and then this weekend I used it for my 90-minute long run the day after a double workout day. So tired legs, my first double workout day since the Loch Ness Marathon I did recently. Went out for my long run in the morning and just ticked over really nicely. Like, it's the kind of shoe that makes you look forward to the run even more. Like, I always look forward to my runs, but even more so, it's like, it was a sunny day, I'm going to put on this really comfortable bouncy shoe and go and do 90 minutes easy. Perfect. I was excited to go and do it, and it did tick over really nicely. And even at the end of that run, fairly longish week and decent amount of miles for me. The first time I'd gone back over kind of 100k in a week since the marathon, I felt fresh. I felt like I enjoyed the run. The shoe really protects the legs and it gives you lots of bounce. And it didn't feel at all laboured towards the end of that long run. So again, another fear I had with it is like, this will be okay for kind of short, slow runs, but the weight and the size will get you down a bit over the course of a long run. Just wasn't the case. So it really is great for those easy runs. And I can certainly see it being a fantastic option for high mileage runners, especially those who maybe do easy doubles, the second run in the day being an easy run. Great shoe for that. Again, loads of protection. It does give your legs a little bit of a boost and just helps you bounce back quite quickly from lots of mileage and hard runs. There is still obviously the downside of the size and the weight and indeed the price, which we'll talk more about in the verdict. Like, this is still a big shoe and not the most versatile at all, even as a cushion shoe. But it's a smooth running recovery shoe that works really well for that. And of course, it actually does feel better when you are running relaxed and taking it easy and not pushing at all. It almost helps you to rein it in on easy runs if you are starting to move through the gears unnecessarily or something like that, just because you get back into that more flow state style of running when you are in the shoe and get your heart rate back down. It feels best at that. So it's certainly a very enjoyable run test all round, probably more enjoyable than I expected when the shoe first landed. So my verdict on the Nike Vomero Premium, I would say it delivers in all the ways it's billed as delivering. This is an extremely cushioned and bouncy shoe for daily mileage. It will work fantastically well for high mileage runners looking for a lot of protection on their easy runs, or any runner who just really craves that high level of cushioning and bounciness and softness underfoot for their easy runs. It does that job extremely well, and it's billed as doing that, but sometimes when you see all these foams and stuff thrown into a shoe, it just doesn't work. It ends up too clunky, too heavy and all that. But actually the Vomero Premium defies its weight almost to deliver quite a smooth and fun and lively ride, especially at slower paces, with a little bit of scope to move through the gears to kind of towards steady paces like I covered in the run test. So definitely a perfect shoe for high mileage runners who are looking for a protective shoe to do easy runs in, especially things like double runs when you're doing an easy run, or someone who runs at unfriendly hours. This is the kind of shoe, if you're someone who has to get up at 5, 6 a.m. to do your runs to fit them in, it makes it feel a bit better to do it in this shoe, I find, because you're getting up and you're putting on a really comfy shoe and there's no pressure to run fast and it gives you all that protection and that kind of thing. So it's definitely going to be a really good option for some people, but it's very expensive, and I still do think it's probably going to be a little bit too targeted and niche to make it the sensible option for most runners, including someone like myself who isn't doing massive mileage and doesn't necessarily need such a extremely comfortable shoe in the rotation. It's a bit more one note than lots of other really highly cushioned shoes out there. Things like the Brooks Glycerin Mac, the Nike Vomero Plus, the Asics Nova Blast 5, all these shoes are really cushioned, are really comfortable, but are a far bit lighter. The Vomero Plus and the Asics Nova Blast 5 are a lot cheaper than the Vomero Premium as well. They're giving you loads of protection, but they are more solid daily trainers as well. It's easier to pick up the pace in them if you're looking for a cushion shoe to do all your runs in, or a new runner just looking for a nice cushion shoe for everything. That they would be better options, I'd say. They give you better value and a bit more kind of range. Whereas the Vomero Premium for me is a shoe that really does need a rotation to go with it. I think if you're a runner who's doing any kind of structured training, you are going to want a lighter, faster shoe alongside it to do workouts in and maybe look at racing and that kind of thing. So in that situation, it's a very strong option for the cushion shoe in a rotation, that's for sure. And if you don't mind spending the extra money, it might be the ultimate recovery day shoe and, cushion shoe for long runs and just relaxed runs. It does that job extremely well. In my own rotation, if I was picking it now, we might do a video on it soon. The Nike Vomero Plus was the shoe that had that spot locked down because it's such a fun cushion shoe with loads of bounce, and I enjoy using it for long runs. It actually has got a bit of versatility as well, but it's really very comfortable and bouncy. Vomero Premium is a threat to that spot now, just because I have enjoyed it so much for those easy runs, and even though it is less versatile, that matters obviously a lot less if you do have a rotation of running shoes and you are putting it alongside a fast shoe, and it's just there to hoover up those easy miles and do a lot of running in it, because it does provide such a great option for, like I say, high mileage runners in marathon training, that kind of thing, when you might be doing 3, 4 or 5 easy runs a week. It's a great option to do all those miles in, because it protects the body really well, and it's just a lot of fun to run in at easy paces. So yeah, I can see this as a shoe that lots of runners will pick up and enjoy using. And it is very expensive, but it is a little bit harder to make a real judgment call on that price, because it is quite a unique proposition. This, like, there's not a lot of shoes out there that do this. No one's got this higher stack. Like I say, there are lots of really good, very highly cushioned shoes that are great options and will probably be more sensible options, even the Vomero Plus in particular. But this does have more cushioning and is a bit softer and is a bit bouncer, and does elevate this whole idea of a max cushion shoe to another level. So it is a bit different, and for lots of runners that might be worth the extra outlay there. Like I say, it's not going to be the most practical or sensible buy. I'd look at the Vomero Plus first, even if you are building a rotation and just want a recovery shoe. But if you are someone who craves that high level of cushioning and softness, or someone who's running loads and loads of miles and really wants the ultimate recovery shoe, I think you are going to get it at the Vomero Premium. It does live up to its billing, and it performed, it outperformed my expectations, and I really enjoyed using it. So that's a review of the Nike Vomero Premium. Please do like and subscribe, ring the little bell, and we will see you next time on the channel.